Let me take the time, I know you like when I describe it. I've been lying to myself, truth I wanna hide it. Fall in love in 7 days a week and won't describe it. I've been trying many things, but nothing comes as close as flying. In a safe lane to do.
Let's start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about iWag, where it came from.
Okay. So I equate our story to a Nicholas Sparks movie. That's the best way I can put it.
The Notebook?
Pretty much, or any of them, because they're all the same, basically.
All right.
If you didn't know that. I grew up, my grandparent, one pair of grandparents owned a farm, and the other were just very active. They all had their hands on all kinds of things, and so I grew up with animals, saving animals, being creative, all that stuff. And fast forward, I finished graduate school, met my late husband, came down here. He was finishing school. I was starting my career in sports marketing. And he had a dog that he had trained as a service dog because he had gotten bacterial meningitis and lost both his legs below the knee and most of his fingers when he was playing football in college. People saw how well that dog was trained and said, oh, will you help me train my dog? Well, we're like, hey, extra money, Joey's still in school, you know, that can be our play money or whatever we're gonna do financially. So we just started helping people train their dogs. And then they're like, oh, will you keep our dog? Sure, we'll keep your dog, why not? Then we, you know, 1 dog, 2 dogs, 3 dogs, 8 dogs, and all of a sudden we're like, oh, we have a business now. But it was fun, it was part-time, and I had been working for about 3 years in sports marketing, and the business had grown to a point where it would be scary to leave my job, but it was growing, and so I did, and we did really well. Then he returned from school and about 8 months later passed away, not completely unexpectedly, but pretty much unexpectedly. And that was the same time the economy was going down the drain. So when he passed away and I was looking at things financially, I said, I'm spending about $600 a month taking care of these dogs, and that's a lot of money, especially when the economy's bad and I don't know the future of our business. So we started asking clients for donations. Again, just like our business, it just blew up from there. So we were able to rescue more dogs, and then we started selling t-shirts to support our mission, and then all of a sudden we were Life is Labs Rescue, and it just grew and grew and grew. And so here we are today. We started out as a lab rescue, and now we do rescue all breeds and care for all breeds of dogs.
So that explains a few things. One, your background in marketing explains y'all's social media presence, which is remarkable. Y'all have an incredible following on social media and just in general. Walk us through how you built that and what your strategy is in terms of marketing and building that following.
We try to really give people an inside view of what we do. It's all very personal to us, and a lot of it is very intimate. You know, it's a lot of hard stuff emotionally. We try to keep it positive, but we share those hard times too so that people can understand what's involved. And a lot of people want to, even though that stuff is brutally sad, they want to be there and share with us too, that part. But we try to throw out a little bit of cutesy content that's not specifically about us, that just gets 5,000 likes.
Right.
But it's funny and it's cute, so we try to, and it's entertaining, and people will enjoy, we know what our audience will enjoy seeing. So I try to, you'll see every couple of days I'll throw something like that out. Lately we've been trying to do more and more live video, which I think is fabulous as long as nothing bad happens on it. I just realized that after you finish filming, it says, do you want to publish this? And I'm like, okay, good, then I have a choice. If something happens, I don't want anyone to see.
So you all have one of the best assets for marketing there is, which is a dog.
Absolutely.
Everybody loves dogs. With y'all's strategy of authenticity and transparency and all that type of stuff, what type of advice could you give to someone that doesn't have that asset, like a dog, when it comes to marketing, right? You have a marketing background. So what would you give that company? What type of advice would you give them?
The same I would give us that I haven't implemented, and I think, have you been to, is it the Oconee County Sheriff's Office?
No.
So I don't think in all cases you can be humorous, but I mean, of all things, the Sheriff's Office is not funny.
Right.
But if you go look it up, they make serious issues, not disrespectfully, like things that are not critically serious, funny.
Right.
I mean, people from all over the world follow their page. Bangor, Maine, and Oconee County Sheriff's Office, you know? And I think any any Facebook page of almost any matter. I don't know, you make a cute video and it comes out every Wednesday.
Right.
You know, people look forward to that stuff and they want to read it. It's just getting there with regularity. I think humor goes a long way.
Yeah, and it's got to be like, because like I'm not funny either.
Yeah.
And so it's like you got to have someone with some wit.
You need a face.
Someone witty that can help make something humor out of it. And I think that you bring up a good point on the regularity, the consistency, which y'all are really good at with consistently putting things out, right? Consistently being at the top of people's feeds, to consistently being in front of people, but not in a nagging way. It's like in a valuable way that's interesting. And I think that those are some of the things that are really valuable in terms of like, I look at everything that y'all post because it's interesting in some form or fashion. And I think that's a big thing. And
I'll share some things that I don't think necessarily will get a lot of attention, but that again show what we do. Like yesterday, Drew and Jason working on the lawn. Right. I'm like, oh, getting the lawn pretty to make a video. You know, just here's something that we're doing.
I want to go back to, because we're talking about marketing, and you touched on it briefly at the beginning. To get to where y'all are right now, I mean, walk me through that. I mean, like, because you didn't have the social media following. I mean, Facebook wasn't, I mean, it was big, but
it just didn't happen.
It didn't work as well. It didn't have the same type of reach necessarily to continue to grow. Like, how did you get to the point of having 90 rescue dogs in a business where you guys have sometimes 120 dogs there?
It's very easy to get 90 rescue dogs. We could go do that right now down the road.
Well, let me ask this then. How many dogs do you think have been adopted out of your rescue? Found a home from you?
Hundreds.
Hundreds. All right, fine. Let's use that number. Okay. It's not easy to have hundreds of dogs adopted. So how did you get the word out to people? Like, how did you do that at the beginning days? Like, think back to the early days.
Word of mouth always. And I would say for us, mostly word of mouth. You know, now everything's over the past 6 to 8 years, now everything's online.
Right.
So it's very easy to market affordably now. Early on, word of mouth and website. I don't do a lot of extra advertising. Should I? Maybe. We got out to as many events as we could. We also placed ourselves. So our program, which you're familiar with, we don't just have people show up, look at all the dogs, and they take a dog and pay a $50 adoption fee and off they go. So our program is very one-on-one, customized to the adopter. They fill out an application, they make an appointment and come in, and we meet with them personally and show them the dogs that fit based on the information that they have given us. So they don't need to look at all 90 dogs because 80 of them probably aren't going to work for their situation. And then, so they pick a dog, and then we provide the training. They come out and work with the training, and then they take the dog home, and they have support for the rest of the dog's life. Whether they come out and do lessons, or they need boarding, or need to call at 3 o'clock in the morning because the dog's vomiting, whatever, we're there. I would say some of the best marketing that we do is going to events where we feel we can serve that demographic. And what I mean is people who see the value in what we do. Our adoption fee is higher. The process is a little more involved, but it gives you a dog that you can take home and know that we have not misrepresented it, that it's a good fit for your family, and that it's trained and you can have peace of mind, enjoy it, it'll have good manners, it can go anywhere you go. You can hike, bike, camp, walk, whatever, off leash, which is the crux of our program, and know that your dog's not gonna run away and will always come back when called. So it does cost more. We looked to events where we thought the demographic would appreciate what we're doing, and of course become adopters or clients, or even though our adoption fee is higher, it still doesn't cover the cost of everything we do by the time you take into account the payroll, the food, the vet, the this, the that. So we will go places like boat shows, home shows, arts festivals. There are a lot of dog-related events, like Star 94 does Woofstock up in Sewanee. Woofstock, yep.
Interesting.
They've done that for years, and it's a wonderful event. We've done it before. But you're there in direct competition with 100, 200 other rescue groups whose adoption fee are nothing compared to yours. And it's harder to get your message across because it's all dogs everywhere. You know, everywhere someone turns, there's a dog to adopt. So we like to put ourselves where we're the only dogs in the show, and we'll go only where we have permission to bring dogs in with us. So we've done like the home show at the Galleria and got permission to have the dogs in our booth. And so everybody wants to go see the dogs,
Right.
you know, and so it's captive audience and a great demographic for us. So we look to go places that will provide the most potential for adoptions,
Right.
understanding the value of our program, and then possibly volunteer, donate, and support in general our mission.
So we talked about this before we left the dogs, and you're talking about how you call your mom a lot, and she's like a mentor to you, right? What do you think the power?
You definitely have to give a shout out to Mom.
Yeah,
when
Mom. Yeah, give a shout out to your mom.
Thank you, Mom. You're the best.
I love you, Mom.
I love you, Mom.
There you go. The power of a mentor, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't put enough emphasis on that, because I think that they know everything, and I know for me personally, it's the reason where we are.
I know where my strengths lie, and I know where my weaknesses are. And if it's something, especially if I feel it'll affect someone else, like our employees or a customer, I'll always go to our board or my mom or whomever. I have a couple of people in key areas.
Right.
I'm just so thankful my mom's always willing to take my calls.
Well, let's go down that kind of, what is the vision for IWAG? What is the vision of where we're sitting here in Decatur, which is a new venue that y'all are creating for in town to continue to push your mission forward? I know that this isn't the end. This isn't where you want. This isn't the last stop you want to have. So, what's the vision for IWAG? Where do you see it kind of going from here over the next years ahead?
So the vision is that part of the reason, so our place is an hour outside of Atlanta, right? It's a long drive. It's hard to get people to come out there. It's not convenient. It's beautiful. It's a nice drive, but it's not easy to get to. We have a lot of support from all over the world, and definitely locally and across the country, but we don't have a place where people can show up and come help us, or easily show up and come visit dogs. So a few years ago I said, we really need to find a place in the city that's like a satellite location that kind of links the two together, and we put our most adoptable dogs in there, and we're accessible to so many more people that will in turn get us more volunteers, donations, just awareness of what we're doing in general. So the vision was to get into the city where there are people, to grow our program, save more dogs, and also provide education to the general public through our training programs. We're always available to them. We have people asking us for help all the time with different situations, and we're glad to help. So just general community support. And I would say my vision is we talked about dog numbers, I never want a facility that has 1,000 dogs.
Right.
Unless it's spread out on 100 acres and there's a bunch of little pods.
Right.
Because it's too hard to have, too big of a number together, in my opinion, to provide what we want to provide for the dogs. So my thought, as of right now, is to kind of be on each quarter of the perimeter. Or, depending on demographics and where it makes sense, to plop a facility.
Right.
Wherever we're most accessible to the highest potential market for our services. So we want to just be more accessible to more people for the benefit of the dogs that are in our program, and then local dogs who could benefit from our services.